Hello and welcome everyone. This is PanAm Racing on the Race Owners Network. My name is Nick and I'm going to be taking you through today's proceedings. So we've got 90 minutes of Spa. It's round 6 of season 2 of the Winter Championship for PanAm Racing. So we're about the halfway mark of the season. Had the 6-hour Bathurst Enduro last week, which went quite well according to most people involved. So we're going to be doing Spa this week, back to the standard 90-minute sprint for this particular league as well. So looking forward to it. We're kicking off in just a tick under 4 minutes, in fact. Didn't quite have time to put championship tables and stuff together, but I'll give you a bit of an idea of where the championship sits after 5 rounds. So it's Fusion Racing Team. They're sitting on top of the tables, 180 points. They're 32 points clear of PanAm Racing, who are currently sitting in second on 148. You've got PanAm Porsche. They're sitting close behind, 126. And only 6 points behind them is Fusion Racing Team on 120 at the moment. AMR Venom Racing, they're on 116, so they're still in the hunt. You've got the International Treaty of Racing for make benefit of the USA and Australia. So that's quite a mouthful. I won't be repeating that too often today. They're sitting in 6th. 7th is ZR Boys with a Z. 92 points, 90 points in P8 is Lloyd Competition in the Lamborghini, and then Madmen bringing up the rear in 9th spot in 56. In terms of the AM, let me quickly bring that up here. There we go. So ARL Racing Team, they're leading the way on 144 points. DRL on 66. So they're the only two AM teams to have scored so far in this season, and they gave you a bit of an idea of where everyone is at as we sit right now at round 6 of season 2, the winter season. Where are we? Let's have a look. So we're just wrapping up practice, so give you a bit of an idea on times. So 2-minute 19.032 is the top of the times. That's Matt Arantz. He will be partnered today with Gage Gonzalez, so not too unusual to see that combination at the top of the times. We've got Curtis Ruston in the car at the moment. He and Lud Flores are there in P2 right now. There they are, just in the Lexus there. Stefano Barea and Carlos Rivadeneira, they're sitting there in P3. Andrew Sherman and Jeremy Eastcott just in the Porsche there, sitting in 4th position right now. Kenneth Smith and Rodney Falco in the AMR Venom Aston Martin, they're in 5th spot. Matt Devine and Nathan Wilson in the Treaty car, sitting in 6th with that Audi. Chris Rise and Eric Lloyd. So Chris Rice just out on circuit at the moment in the Lamborghini, sitting in a tidy, well, was 7th, down into 8th. John Cannon and Retro Coffin 9th, and Steve Sky and Stu Skinner in 10th position. We've got 15 cars on the grid at the moment, so 30 drivers in total. So it's a full teams event, which is a pretty good turnout considering it's a Saturday night in the Northern Hemisphere. So just Terry Rayton, just making sure that the visuals aren't frozen. If you could just confirm for me, that would be good. I see that. Why is that not coming across? Oh, there we go. Yeah, that should be okay. Yeah, it should be fine. Hopefully that's working all right. Let us know, Terry, if it isn't. I can see on my end things seem to be working without any drama. So yeah, please let me know. hopefully there's no dramas coming through. Cool. Alright, so free practice is finished. We are about to begin qualifying. So we'll see once everything gets sorted out. We'll just wait for the countdown clock to finish. Big popular time right now for sim racing. Got the Daytona 24-hour happening right now. Had the Le Mans 24-hour a couple of weeks ago, which had its issues along the way. But PanAm has kept on just chugging along. I hope everyone had a happy holidays as well. Festive period. Hope you all managed to stay nice and safe. Retro Coffin hinting at we might see a little bit of drama at Spa. It's usually a circuit where it's the first lap where you usually get a little bit of drama, especially through Eau Rouge into Radion as well. So, but because it is so long, being nearly just a tick over 7 kilometers, field can become a little bit spread out. So, yeah, I don't think we'll have any dramas with blue flags and whatnot. I saw that a little while ago for an enduro around Hungaroring. So here we go. Let's get this sorted. There we are. Nice. All right. Cool. Here we go. So cars starting to head out. Here we go. This is John Cannon. So it's a funny qualifying, isn't it? 15 minutes around here. Probably give you the opportunity. You're doing just a tick over 2-minute laps. If you want to get your co-driver in there as well, it doesn't leave you a lot of time to really to make any mistakes. So you have to be on it pretty much straight away, and John Cannon is certainly not on it there. So not too sure what's happened to him there going into Lacombe, but I might just be heading back to the pits now. So plenty of cars now filtering out into the circuit. Turner Johnson. I tried to find your livery, Turner Johnson. I don't know if this is it. I apologise if it's not. But I tried my best. I just could not quite find it. So Gage Gonzalez, he's in the car right now. So looks like he's going to do the first portion of qualifying. Here's my favourite. I'm not Jimmy. Anyone who has the audacity to put their own selfie, if you like, on the front of their car, you've got to give them some credit. So I think he's with Brad Lee today, or tonight, wherever you may be in the world. Here's Matt Devine. He's teaming with Nathan Wilson in the Audi, the Treaty team. This is Sean New in the Green Falcon. So plenty of cars out on track right now. I think it's going to be Lud Flores, which will be the first car to set us with a time lapse. So 2:19 by Matt Arantz, and Gage Gonzalez was the fastest in free practice. Eric Lloyd's done himself a mischief there just through campus. He's back off to the pits, and here we go. Here's Lud Flores. He's going to set. He's going to be the first driver to set off on a fast lap. Let's see how he goes. So hard on the brakes into La Source. Tricky right-hander, but you want to get that exit right. He's going to head down the hill. Take a deep breath. Head into the famous Eau Rouge. Up the top through Radion. Right on it here. Saw him using all the curb. Up the... It's a tricky length, the Camel Straight. 770 metres. Got the lights ablaze as well. Loving it. It's 8:03 p.m. in game time. track is 18 degrees. Air temperature is the same. It's fast right now. Not optimum. That wasn't optimum either. Out of Lacombe there. Now the downhill braking into Brussels. Or sorry, Brussels, or wherever you want to pronounce it. Through No Name or Jackie Hicks Corner, whichever one you want to call it. And a double left-hander of Pouon. So it's been a little bit scruffy. We'll see how that relates to the times. So he makes his way through 13 and 14. And he's pulled out of it. All right, cool. Let's go off to the next one. This is Stefano Barea. He is not on a fast lap right now. Kenneth Smith looks like he is. He's just beginning his lap. I'll see if I can pick up someone. Maybe Turner Johnson might be more relevant at the moment. So the sun setting, lights ablaze. Track still 18 degrees. Quite a strong wind. Southwesterly, 13 kilometres. Not too sure what that is in miles per hour. As he makes his way to the bus stop chicane, famous bus stop chicane. Trickier than it looks. See what sort of time he can set. He crosses the line, a 2:20 I believe it was. Where was it? Yeah, 2:20.887. There we go, so nice time from him. Who else is out there? It looks like Kenneth Smith. We picked him up earlier on, but it's Stefano Barea, 2:19, currently setting the fastest time. Matt Devine, Matt Arantz, Turner Johnson. I believe it's Sean New. Chris Rise. I'm not lifting down Eau Rouge at the start. Full send. I like it. Retro Coffin just cheering him on. What's the worst that could happen? Exactly. There's no repair bills in sim racing. That's the beauty of it. Some more time starting to filter in now. Kenneth Smith. Coming towards the end of his lap right now. Let's see what he can do. A 2:19.1 is the time to beat, as he's just hustling that Aston Martin through the bus stop chicane here. Where does he come out? Comes out P2. Nice work from him. So he's got that Aston Martin looking pretty good right now. Losses out there. This is Drew Stanley for Tired Ass Dads. He'll be sharing the car with John Rohrer tonight, this race. Let's just stick with that, eh? So just coming through. This is Brussels. Tight right-hander. And through Jackie Hicks. I kind of liked it when it was called No Name. Fast left-hander of Pouon in the Honda. It's a Honda in the lead right now. Well, it was sitting at the top of the time, so we're about to approach the halfway mark. Only 8 cars have set a time right now. So as I mentioned, it is a bit of a tricky qualifying around here. You have to get it right. You have to be precise. There's not much margin for error given the length of the circuit. You and your partner want to get a run in. It can be quite tricky. So Drew Stanley, though, making the most of it. Let's see where he is at right now. Approaching 2 minutes. As he goes through Blanchimont for the run into the bus stop. Hard on the brakes. Down into what I would assume would be second gear. Some people use first. Through there. Let's see where he comes out. Drew Stanley. He invalidated his time. Alright. That was on me. My apologies. Lud Flores, he's a little bit further along than Steve Sky, but it's still Barrera, leading the times. Oh no, Drew Stanley went to the P2. That's why I didn't see it. Devine, Smith, Jimmy, Roger. Who's Roger? That's a new name. Arantz, Johnson, Thomas, and New. That's your top 10. We've only had 10 cars set a time. Here's Lud Flores in the trusty Lexus. It's just a in-game livery that he's got on today. Got some nice liveries throughout the field. Let's see where he can put that Lexus. Goes up into P5, so that's not too bad from him. Pretty decent. What about Steve Sky in the Porsche? This will be their first fast time set. Doesn't improve. No, he does. Goes up into P11. So nice work from him. Here's Matt Arantz in the Honda. So he stepped in for Gage Gonzalez. Currently sitting P9 right now. Best time of a 2:20.495. So 1.3 seconds off the pace. Sherman on that. He thought he might have had a bit of a drama up there, but just letting some faster cars come through. So Matt Arantz looking to improve on P9. 2:20.495 is his best time. And improves up to P6, so that's not too bad. Moves up 3 positions. What about John Cannon and the PanAm Porsche? PanAm Racing Porsche, sorry. Porsche probably not really at too much of an advantage around here, being a power circuit. John Cannon up into P13 for now, so not too bad from him. This is Christopher Thomas. He's setting out on his timed lap, so we'll duck over to Eric Lloyd for the Vitaphone Racing team. Currently sitting P9 right now. 2:20.285. 2:19.1 is the time to beat by Stefano Barrera. All cars out on the circuit now as well. So he makes his way through Blanchimont, using all the curb on the exit. Don't want to do it on the entry, can really unsettle a lot of cars. Oh, collects a little bit of dirt along the way, just getting a little bit scruffy towards the end of this lap. Makes his way through the bus stop. Is he going to improve on his time? He does not. 2:02.85, so still good enough for P9 only right now, with just over 3 minutes left in the session. Here's Matt Devine. He's racing with Nathan Wilson in the Treaty Audi. They're currently a very nice P5. Runs quite wide out of Paul Ferrer. I always get confused with how to mix up my pronunciation with that corner, but I think we're doing all right. Oh, using all the curb on the through Blanchimont. Brave man. Audi looking strong right now. Can he beat his time? He does, and he goes P4. Nice work from him. So those boys looking strong right now. Drew Stanley, he's looking strong as well in the Honda. It's a Honda 1.3. He's off his best time right now, so he will not improve. Who else is out there? Turner Johnson, he's currently sitting P11. Got the lights ablaze in the Mercedes. His best time at 2:20.8. We're looking to improve on that. He's 3/10 up on his best time right now. Stefano Barrera is out there as well. He's half a second up on his best delta. get to him in a moment. Blood Flores in P2. He's out there. Drew Stanley. He's 3/100ths up on his best time right now. That's not going to be enough to get onto the front row of the grid as we're approaching the end of qualifying. It's 90 seconds remaining. Clock is ticking by. Turner Johnson still half a second up. Makes up even more ground into the bus stop chicane. Where can he put this Mercedes? Currently sitting P11. And that is where he will remain. All right. He was well up on his best time. Here's Beret. He's up on his best time by 7/10 in fact. And he improves at 2:17.612. It's a cracking time from him. He's all over it right now. Andrew Sherman, he's down on his best time. Who else is out there? I'm Not Jimmy. Slightly improving. He needs to improve by more than that. He's a couple of tenths off Matt Devine, but a good result for him nonetheless. I think he's teaming with Brad Lee this race. Currently sitting P5. Oh, and that will not improve his time at all. Here's Drew Stanley, currently on the second row of the grid in P3. We've got a matter of seconds remaining. Just a tick over 10 seconds at the moment. So these will be the last laps for these guys. I don't think anyone else is going to get another chance here. Drew Stanley's up on his time a little bit. It's going to take a lot more than that to improve and get onto the front row of the grid. 2:19.3 is his best time. And does not improve on that. So he will be starting the race from P3. Matt Devine, he's on his way. What about Petrovic? We haven't seen him in this qualifying session as the clock has gone 000. So we're on the 3-minute countdown. Petrovic's just running a little bit wide there through Porphyret. On turn 16. A little bit easier to pronounce. It's for the ZR boys. And where does... He's not going to improve on his time. What about 777? Nah, Berea. So the only other car out there that can improve would be Andrew Sherman. He's currently P11 behind the other Porsche of Steve Sky. He's slightly up on his best time right now. Matt Devine, though, is up. Might switch over to him because this is going to affect the second row of the grid. So the Treaty Audi or ITR. Let's do ITR. That's a bit easier. So he's half a second up. That would put him in P3 on the grid with Nathan Wilson. He's a little bit wide once again, but it's not going to take away any pace. He's got a Mercedes, I do believe, up ahead. No, Andrew Sherman in the Porsche. I don't think he's going to catch him. It would be a little bit awkward into the bus stop. You can hear the Porsche in the foreground there. Hard on the brakes. The Audi can handle that bus stop pretty nicely. And are they going to move on to P3? Yes, they are. So nice work from Matt Devine. Great work from him. Moves himself up into P3 for Team ITR. So that is the session ended. We've got Stefano Berea and Carlos Rivadeneira P1. Lud Flores and Curtis Ruston P2. P3 Matt Devine. Nathan Wilson 4th. Drew Stanley and John Rohrer 5th. I'm Not Jimmy and Brad Lee. 6th is Kenneth Smith, Rodney Falker, Gage Gonzalez and Matt Arantz. It'll be interesting to see. We'll track their progress from that point in the field. 8th, Petrovic's Nate Roger, Chris Rise and Eric Lloyd in 9th. Steve Sky and Stu Skinner in 10th. And then you've got the remaining cars up to P15. So that is qualifying all sorted in the books. This is round 6. It's season 2 of PanAm, the Winter League. we will be back with the race very, very shortly. Alright, we are back. Get this thing sorted. Grid it up. And there's a picture of the grid. So you can see we're just over 30 seconds away from beginning the warm-up lap. We're halfway down the GT straight, so this is where we will be starting from. Others who are more familiar with the starting position on the front, on the other pit straight, which is more the F1 type of thing, but this is where the race will be beginning, and we are about to head off on the warm-up lap. 15 cars in the field, and it was a Honda. That was the top of the timesheets. Stefano Barea. He's currently our pole sitter, and he will be leading the pack away right now. Up he goes. And begin the warm-up lap. It's a long warm-up lap, so plenty of time to get the brakes warm, get the tyres up to pressure. You're not really constrained like you are in other shorter tracks where you have to work quite hard to get all the temps and pressures up to working order. You can just ease into it around here. As you see some of the cars just weaving along, warming up those tyres. I liken it to stretching before you do any physical activity. If you go for a run, stretch the muscles out, get them nice and warm and loose before you head off. You're doing no running today, that's for sure. We are watching cars driving around a track for 90 minutes. Start time's 5:04 local time. Track is at optimum conditions. 22 degrees air temperature, 27 degrees track temperature. Got a northeasterly wind of 6 kilometres. It doesn't look like there's any weather on its way. So at this stage, we're looking like it will remain dry. Might get a little bit of cloud cover, but as far as any precipitation, I don't think we're really going to see any, which will be quite good. But it is Spa. Spa, real life, the weather is a lot more unpredictable. We'll see how it pans out. But for at least the first half an hour, we're not going to see any weather of any sorts. So we're just watching that Honda. I think that is Matt Arantz just sorting himself out. So we just head down through the field. So they're just making their way through Puon now. So around about the halfway mark of the circuit. Begin to get themselves in order shortly. And we're going to get round 6 of season 2, the Winter Championship for PanAm Racing underway. If you haven't already, leave us a like, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. There's plenty of action on the Race on Oz network. We've got console, we've got PC, we've got a big enduro console race coming up Wednesday night Australian time. 3 hours of Bathurst driver swaps. First time ever we can do that in console, so that's going to be really exciting. And PC League should be kicking off relatively soon. I'm not 100% certain exactly when, but we should be getting the PC guys back shortly as well. So plenty of action to come. Hopefully have a little bit more of a sharper production values next time out than what we've got today, but we'll just deal with what we can. Some of you may have noticed Joe's not here. Joe is racing in the Daytona 24-hour on iRacing at the moment, so he's either behind the wheel or sleeping. Not too sure. I think his first stint was about 10:30, 11 o'clock PM for him, so it's now 1:30 PM the next day. So he's probably be pretty tired. That is the answer to his absence here, as the field now starting to form up side by side. So make their way through La Source, the right-hander, and then head back down the hill and get the GT start underway. Have been fooled by that before. Not today though. But the field all starting to come together now. Tyres hopefully up to pressure. Brake temperatures hopefully up to pressure. Got yourself sorted. Got all your buttons mapped. Taking your last drink of water. Got your co-pilot cheering you on from the side. And here we go. So we are not far away. Round 6, Season 2. PanAm Winter Championship. It's Stefano Barea in the Honda on pole position. There it is. And we're racing. Barea got a good start there. Flores went with him as well. Matt Devine filtered in. They're all making their way up through Eau Rouge. And it's a clean start for everyone. So great stuff as they go up the Camel Straight for the first time this race. Looks like Lud Flores got a nice little draft here on Barea as they go into the comp for the first time. He goes around the outside and takes the lead. So great driving there from Lud Flores to take the lead. Everyone else filtering through, and we've still got all 15 cars facing the right way. So great start from everyone. Got a little bit of jostling through the pack. Rora's dropped a spot. Petrovic, Sky, Jimmy, Arantz, Turner Johnson, they've made ground as well. But the main thing is all 15 cars are straight and facing the right way, as Arantz and Rora battling it out there too. Petrovic's looking to go down the inside, and he gets the move done on Kenneth Smith. Gets a little tap from behind, almost goes all the way around, comes back onto the track, ends up going a 180, and that's unfortunate. That looks like it was Piasek in there as well. in the Aston Martin, so he got caught up in that too. So no contact made, just to... I won't go to the replay now, I missed that one, but my apologies, but we saw all that happening in real time. But here's the fight out in front. Lud Flores, Stefano Barea, P1-2, Matt Devine, I'm Not Jimmy has made up a spot as well. Matt Arant's in there in the other Honda. John Rohrer following him behind. Chris Rise, Kenneth Smith, Turner Johnson! That is not good. Let's see how that all came about here. So, making his way through the left-hander. Oh no, this was ages ago. Or was that... No, that was through... not too sure why it went back to that spot. So, didn't quite catch what happened to him there. Back up into P12, but it's Flores leading from Barea, Devine, Jimmy, Arant, Rohrer, Rice, Smith, Sky, Sherman. That's your top 10. Jimmy! Oh, that's happened at the top of Radion. Let's see what happened here. Why is it going back so far? I think I know why. That's not good. My apologies, everyone. I didn't have it set up properly. Yeah, okay. I've got it set up properly now. All right, so P11 he's dropped down into. Good for him. Chris Rise, though, he's all over the back of John Rohrer right now. In P5. We need the helicam for this as they go through Puon. That's not Puon. That's turn 11, Jackie X. And looks like Rise has managed to get through. He's there in P5. Steve Sky, he's all over the back of Kenneth Smith now, sending it down the inside. He's going to take that position away. So move up into P7. It's a strong start there from him. And then Kenneth Smith's got Andrew Sherman all over the back of him now as well. So he's got some defending to do in the Aston Martin right now on the opening stages of this one. Had a little bit of action. We've got John Cannon who's in the pits right now. So there he is getting his repairs sorted and he's away. So we'll have to fight to remain on the lead lap. But it's Flores leading from Barea. Let's see if Kenneth Smith can make a move into the bus stop. No, he can't. So Flores, Barea, Devine, Morantz and Rise. Turner Johnson circulating at the rear of the field and John Cannon. So those guys have got a lot of work to do. But this is a nice little groupings of cars here. Chris Rise, Rohrer, Sky, Smith and Sherman. Jimmy, he's into the pits as well, so you can see the damage there is quite extensive. It's going to be a lot of time lost in the pits for him, so not a great start for the pink 69 Aston Martin. As we're having a look at Arantz here, we might step away from him for the moment. So Sherman still attacking Kenneth Smith. They're in 8th and 9th right now. Piasek and Petrovic. This is at the end of the Camel Straight. Mercedes versus Aston Martin. And Petrovic manages to get it done. Let's see if I can get the replay here. There it is. There's the end of it. Nice work from him. So good job from Petrovic to get that sorted. And he's in P11 right now. So back to this scrap here. We've been watching. That's Steve Sky all over the back of John Rohrer in the Honda. think stint times are 47 minutes. That's what they normally are in the Enduros. We'll see once that gets a little bit closer, but we're still a fair way away from that right now. We're watching from the rear of the Honda of John Rohrer. You have to think he'd have a significant power advantage over the Porsche through that part of the track. There's Kenneth Smith behind. He's got Steve Sky. We're going to go down into the source here. We've got Chris Rise in the Lamborghini. Oh, what's happened to Petrovic? Oh, that's big. Let's see what happened here. Oh, this is through Blanchimont. Yeah, bang, inside curb, and that was all she wrote. That's what happens there. That's a tough part of the track. What about Lud Flores? What's going on with him? Got a yellow next to his name, and let's see, how did he get there? Oh, at the top of Radion, and into the wall. And so, looked relatively gentle hit to the wall, so might not be too much damage. And now just waiting to get back going, and he's back underway. So that was our race leader, Lud Flores, but now is back down in P10. See what the damage is like on that. Oh, it's generally not a good sign when you see the bonnet flapping around a little bit. Just trying to get an interior shot here. No. Can't get that. No, that's not it either. Alright. So yeah, he's having quite a few difficulties with that right now. So that's definitely going to require a pit stop. Petrovic is in the pits. He's still taking positions though. That was, hang on, that's just Stefano Barea. So he's had a big hit somewhere else as well. So both are race leaders. So maybe they came together. The replay didn't quite pick it up. So somewhere along the line, Barea has had to come in together with a wall as well, because that's big damage too. So that's both our race leaders. It seems to be a poison chalice right now. Devine and Arantz are now P1, P2. Chris Rise in the Lamborghini up there in P3. And he's hit something from the front and the rear as well. So that's big damage for Barea. It's not going to bode well for him and Carlos Rivadiniera once he gets in the car as well. So we've lost a ton of positions. Piasic has just made it come up as well. And then where's Flores? He's not come into the pit, Lud Flores. So he seems to have gotten away with it to a degree, whereas he's not needed to pit. But yeah, Barea, our pole sitter, he will have to come in, and there he is. But in the meantime, this man here for ITR, the cards have fallen their way early in this race. We're only 10 minutes into it, so time enough for Barea and Flores to come back as well, as Andrew Sherman manages to get past. See if we can pick up on that as they come up the top of Radion there. And have a look at this. This is going to be a pass up the Kemmel Straight. Gets the toe, and the Porsche, and is able to get past the Aston Martin. They're able to pull that up in time and make a nice clean pass. So nice work to the Porsche there, Andrew Sherman. Drops Kenneth Smith back out down into 7th. Sean Vinson in 8th in the other Aston Martin as well. Steve Sky, he's looking to make a move on Chris Rise. Eric Lloyd will be watching on with him, and he gets it done as well. Let's just quickly go back and see how that all transpired. So this is coming out of Pouon. Yep, and then the right-hander of Campus, and he just slips it up the inside. Chris Rise runs a little bit wide there and lets Steve Sky come through. So nice work. Porsches did quite well in P3 and P6. P12 as well, John Cannon down there. So qualifying didn't look particularly positive for them, but the race has been a completely different story. And now this is Chris Rise coming under attack from John Rohrer, who's got Andrew Sherman behind. As we're looking from the rear of Chris Rise here. So sitting in P4, Lamborghini versus Honda. Going up Eau Rouge. He runs a little bit wide through Radion, but that's okay. The Lamborghini power unit doing its job, keeping it ahead of John Rohrer in the Honda. Oh, that was Rohrer. We'll have a quick look at that again. Let's see. So this was into Lecom. I wonder if he's just hit the inside ripple strip here. No, hasn't touched it. And then, oh, yep, just he's saved that as best as he possibly could there. Flores gets past Vincent. That's for 8th and 9th, respectively. I think Rohrer, yeah, that was about as the best was the best outcome he could get there. We're watching right now Andrew Sherman chasing down the Lamborghini of Chris Rise. Opportunity there for an overtake. So we're going to go down through Eau Rouge now. Brady on there. Looks like he got a pretty good run out of it. They're going to go side by side once again. The Porsche putting the move on, and that's Andrew Sherman now up into P4. Great work from him. And the Porsches looking strong in 3rd and 4th right now. Great start from them. So both Porsches have increased by, have moved up by 7 spots. So Steve Sky and Andrew Sherman, both up 7 spots. Matt Arantz, he's up 5. And unfortunately, the biggest fallers, Stefano Barea down 13. I'm Not Jimmy down 10. Lud Flores down 6. John Rohrer down by 3. So some big movers and shakers there. But the Porsches, who would have thought? Looking good right now. This is Kenneth Smith. He's all over the back of Chris Rise. He's had a good start to the race, up 4 positions. Let's have a look at some lap times now as well. So lapping in the 20s, a 20.595 was the last one around for Rise, a 20.725 for Kenneth Smith. So similar pace to one another. We've got a fastest lap of a 2:19 flat. That belongs to a Stefano Barea, but that's about as good as his day's gotten right now, because he's down there in 14th position after that big hit earlier on. We didn't quite pick it up on the broadcast, but yeah, he and Lud Flores both suffered similar fates. Flores, though, has managed to get the lesser of it, though. He's down there in P8 right now, so managed to just keep things a little bit more on track than Barea, unfortunately. Let's see if I can have a look at pit count. So Barea was in the pits for 2 minutes and 26 seconds. Jimmy was 2 minutes 38 seconds. So yeah, not great. Barea was stopped for a total of 1 minute and 11 seconds of that 2 minutes 26. So a lot of repair time there. The difference between him and Flores was Flores didn't have to pit. He's been able to continue on. So a little bit of the story of the race right now, as the field has begun just to stretch out a little bit, as you do get here. This is the closest battle on track. This is Chris Rise and Kenneth Smith. We're riding on board with Kenneth Smith right now. There's Chris Rise just ahead. So last lap for them at 2:22.350 to Rise, at 2:21.7 to Smith. So significant pace advantage on him there. And the gap is under a second between the two of them. So 8 tenths right now. They're battling it out for P5 and P6. So almost 20 minutes have passed by. It's been a pretty action-packed 20 minutes, but I think these guys will, with the field just spreading out a little bit, gives the opportunity to just get back into your rhythm, find your rhythm if you haven't already. The commotion of the start of the race is simmered right down. It's all just about hitting your marks nice and smooth. And that's not smooth from Chris Rise. That's going to cost him a bit of time. He was a little bit faster as well on that last lap around, but that's going to do him no good. Brett McLean, great racing. Vizsla guy, good luck everyone. Retro Coffin's in there. Chris Rise was in the chat earlier, but his attention is completely occupied right now. This is the look back from his car, the Lamborghini. Kenneth Smith chasing him down right now. Stefano Barea back out there circulating around at 2:18.5 was his last lap. So the car is fixed and ready to go. He's setting fast laps already, so good to see him back out there. We'll see what he's, how much progress he can make. He's 2 seconds off Petrovic's down there in 13th position. As we'll keep our eyes peeled on this battle, but right now it's Matt Arantz, Devine, Sky, Sherman, Rice, Smith, Rora, Flores, Vincent and Piasek. Haven't seen too much of Piasek in this one. On track right now for a top 10 finish. Retro Coffin, we're hoping for a P10 or better. Track is spicy so far. Yeah, track conditions are optimum. 22 degrees air temperature, 26 degrees track temperature. So that's down a degree from the race start. And it's 5:28 p.m. local time, so a long way still remaining in this one. 69 minutes, in fact. As Smith just making up ground under brakes to Rice. And I think Devine. Oh no! What's happened? Let's have a look at the replay. So, where is he? Oh, was he already having troubles? Here, this is... Oh, what is that? That looks like it's a possible equipment failure. Oh, what on earth has happened there? It just went hard left, and these guys were in a podium position, and unfortunately, is it a discount? No, it's still there. That's where the car is. This is just at La Source. So this, I reckon that's some sort of equipment failure for Devine. Nathan Wilson hadn't been in the car yet, and it's just stranded there. I'm not too sure. I see it's still connected. That may not last for too much longer, but unfortunate for Devine and Wilson. For ITR, they were both running in the top 3, and the car's still stationary there, so keep an eye on it. It's still got a yellow marker on the map there. You can see there at the source. Still looks like it's connected. They might be scrambling just to work out what exactly has happened and how to rectify it and get back going again. As we can see, it's still stationary there. So that will start to tumble down the timesheets. Currently P10. Fingers crossed they can get it going again. If not, it's going to be a very rough way to finish their race. Only not even a third race distance at this stage. While they're doing that, we'll keep an eye on the action on the track. It's Smith and Rise. Berea's looming large in the rearview mirror of Petrovic, which we'll shoot to just in a moment. Keep an eye on these two guys. So they both put a wheel on the grass there at Blanchimont. We saw Turner Johnson do that and it not end well for him. And this is Berea putting the move on into the bus stop. Let's have a look how that all came about. Up the inside. Looks like he's got a good run here. So through Blanchimont. Definitely has the pace. And just pulls it up nicely there into the bus stop chicane and makes the move and puts himself up into P12. So not necessarily where he thought he would have been at this stage of the race, as Chris Rise has managed to get past Smith as well. So they've swapped positions, or were they vice versa? I can't remember. Rise and Smith, they're in 4th and 5th, blue flags being waved. And Matt Devine's still just stranded there, not moving. So I have no idea what has happened to those guys. But they are all the way down in plumb last right now. He's been there for some time. Not too sure what's going to happen with that car. It's not affecting the... Well, you see, it is partially affecting the race. You've got the yellow flag sign there near the race timer. And that is a passing... That's one of the very popular passing spots. So I wonder if this is going to cause some sort of grief. Possibly it might remove an overtaking opportunity in that part of the track. Can't see anything in the chat. I'll double check on Discord right now, but let's have a look and see if I can see anything. Event chat. No, I can't really see anything. Oh, hang on. That's pedals broke mid-race in the lead. Gotta love that. Who's that? That's... I know that's what his handle is, but I don't know what his actual name is. So... Alright, well... Whatever the drama is, it's not looking like it's fixable at the moment. This is Smith and Rise. That was into La Source. That's Berea. He's going to be a lap down on these two. This is going to get really awkward into Eau Rouge and then up the Camel Straight out of Radion. nothing really unfolding right now. Into Lacombe. Alright, this is going to get real tricky for Pereira. Rise going quite defensive into 10. Tricky downhill braking zone. You can see the blue flags waving, but I'm not too sure necessarily who they're for. That might be for Pereira because he's got Rora just behind him. So, and there he goes, sending it down the inside of Smith. So he's going to be able to sneak through. That should alleviate. I don't know if that's going to alleviate the blue flags. It's not going to prevent the racing or give anyone a penalty nonetheless. So as long as they're all aware of what's going on, it shouldn't be too much of a drama. Chris Rise would probably be best off actually letting him through and letting him go. Perhaps he doesn't know that Berea's a lap down. So Berea's going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. So they go side by side. Approaching Blanchimont. Boy, that was a bit of heart and mouth. This Kenneth Smith, so he's going to try and take advantage of this. John Rora will be looking to pick up any pieces that may fall his way too, and then Lud Flores as well in P7. So he's inserted himself into this battle. As we see Smith, he's going to have to defend to Rora. And it looks like the ITR Audi is disappeared, so that yellow flag symbol has been removed, and these guys are free to race and pass each other through the source. So unfortunately for the ITR Audi to finish that way, but that is a part of sim racing. Here's Kenneth Smith getting a little bit agricultural across the top of Radion onto the Camel. That is, I'm Not Jimmy. I think that is for position as well. Yeah, that's Petrovic's. He's putting the move on. Can he pull it up in time? They're still going to be going side by side here. And, oh yeah, a little bit of contact. Flores and Rora, they managed to swap positions too. Let's see how that came about. This is Flores into Lacombe. Oh, looks like Rora just had a little bit of difficulty on the exit there, and that allowed Flores to sneak through without much fight. So I think that's the second time Rora's had some difficulties into Lacombe. We're back with this battle, Smith and Rise. Haven't really needed to worry too much about lap times because we've seen all the action on the track. So despite the field just stretching out a little bit, we've still had little pockets along the way to keep us entertained. And this is Smith. It's the wrong camera angle here. It is. Looking from the rear, the Lamborghini belonging to Chris Rise. That's Flores in the background as well. Oh, and who was that? Was I'm Not Jimmy, and that's John Rora. Just getting a little bit tangled up there through the bus stop chicane. As Rise, Smith and Flores make their way through the source. Head down the hill, past the GT pits. They're going to go up through Eau Rouge another time. Top of Radion and onto the Kemmel Straight. One of the best sequences of corners you can find anywhere on the planet. This is definitely, when you ask drivers what their favourite tracks are, this is one that is usually listed in the top 3 of most drivers. Proving to be a pretty tidy race right now. It's Matt Arantz, haven't spoken too much about him, but the Honda is leading the way. It's a 9-second gap over, you wouldn't believe it, but Steve Sky and Andrew Sherman, not because it's Steve Sky and Andrew Sherman, but they're two Porsches which aren't really renowned for their power, especially around a circuit such as Spa, but they're holding their own right now in P2 and P3. And then the three cars behind, Chris Rice, Kenneth Smith and Lud Flores, they're 4th, 5th and 6th. This is Smith looking to go around the outside. He'll have the inside line for the left-hander. That's going to compromise him a little bit now because Flores is going to be able to sneak through. So we just saw Smith perhaps a low percentage lunge there, if you like, a low percentage play. And yeah, that's lost him a position. And Lud Flores has done pretty good to recover. He didn't pit. You can see that bonnet just flapping around a little bit, which is generally not a good sign. So he had his issue at the top of Radion there earlier in the race, but has managed to be able to keep on going. Didn't need to pit, and now has worked himself back into P5. So he's partnered with Curtis Ruston. We should start to see driver changes. Pretty sure 47 minutes is the driver's stint time. And we're about 33 and a half minutes into that. So we will should be expecting pit stops in the next 10 minutes or so nonetheless. And in the meantime, Chris Rise is going to have to do his best to keep Flores behind him. So Rise at 22 flat on that last trip, a 21.6 to Flores and a 22.6 to Smith. So Flores was the faster of the trio, Rise and Smith in that order. Doesn't paint a good picture for Kenneth Smith, but I reckon that little opportunity he tried to take at campus just took a little time off that last lap. Now we're coming up to the same area again, and this time it's Lud Flores as they make a little bit of contact on his way through, but gets it done nonetheless. So nice work to Flores. Let's have a quick look at that, how that transpired again. You can see him setting him up. Tiny little bit of contact coming together. Didn't cost anyone any time, and Flores was able to scoot through there and take P4 away from Chris Rise, who will be handing over the car not too far away to Eric Lloyd, who will be waiting on standby. He'll get behind the wheel of the Lamborghini. In the meantime, Kenneth Smith is going to do his utmost best to make sure that he jumps in there in P6. That's not Jimmy, that's not for position. He's currently P13 right now. So he's a lap down. So that's not for position. He had the big dramas as well earlier on, so he hasn't been having a good time of it. He finds himself in P13. 12.8 seconds off Berea. But it's really been the Chris Rise and Kenneth Smith show. They've been the two that have been stuck close together for the majority of this one. Smith having a look around the outside at the end of the Kemmel Straight. That is the long way around through there. Chris Rise able to easily defend, hold his position. Doing fine right now. A 23 flat was his last lap time. 22.4 to Kenneth Smith. So he's just going to have to pick his mark here. We're not too far away from driver swaps. About 6 or 7 minutes away, in fact. Probably another 3, maybe 4 laps. So he's going to have to be just weighing it up. And there's your answer. He's not weighing anything. He's not waiting for anything either. He is taking that position away from Chris Rise. So he definitely had the pace advantage on the last lap. And then he's been able to put it to good use there. So Kenneth Smith able to move the AMR Venom Racing Aston Martin from P6 into P5. Nice result for him. Started in P7. Find themselves in P5 right now. So a good result as we're more than a third race distance now. Not too far away from closing in on the halfway mark. And I'm not Jimmy. He gets the move done on Chris Rise. Not for position though. 20.6. 23 flat to Rise that last time. Let's see what Jimmy does this time. 21.5. Chris Rise does a 22.7. So 1.2 second advantage to Jimmy. And he's half a second slower than Kenneth Smith. So next car along might be a little bit more harder work for him, but I'll just have to sit tight until the driver swaps occur. Just before the halfway mark. But still Matt Arant's the gap, 10.7 seconds is the difference between him and Steve Sky. Andrew Sherman still occupying P3. He's a further almost 8 seconds down the road from Steve Sky in third. But it's a Porsche 2 and 3 right now. Lud Flores has worked himself back nicely in the Lexus. He's 10 seconds off the lead to Andrew Sherman. Who else? Then Kenneth Smith is almost 2 seconds behind Flores in fifth. Rise as well. So closest cars out on circuit is that trio of Smith, Rise and Rohrer. Rohrer just starting to trying to make some ground. 2:21.8 was his last lap. Chris Rise was a 22.7 and a 21 flat to Kenneth Smith. So almost a second the difference between Rise and Rohrer on that last lap, as we see Rohrer running a little bit wide out of Campos. And you can see the Lamborghini. He's got the Mercedes in front of him. I believe that belongs to Petrovic's. It does, yep. Who's currently circulating in P14 right now for the ZR boys. So, unfortunately, that is last position. There's Gaming Eclipse. Hey, that's a familiar name. Let's go Sherman, cheering him on in P3. This is Chris Rise. There's Rohrer. So Rohrer might be able to use Petrovic to his advantage here. Get a nice tow up through Eau Rouge and then onto the Camel Straight out of Radion. Retro Coffin. Calling for box. Pit window is open. There we go. It's open. So 10-minute window. We are going to see a flurry of activity in the pits beginning very, very shortly. Here's Matt Arant. He's just coming out of Pouon now. So it's going to be our leader, John Cannon. We'll have the first opportunity though. We'll see how this all plays out. Rohrer wasn't able to get past Petrovic up that straight. I think I've seen blue flags waving as well. Or do my eyes deceive me? I'm not sure, but I would have thought that would have been a good opportunity nonetheless. Retro Coffin is out of the chat and into the car, saying that you're going to see us on track. All right, looking forward to it. Yeah, there's the blue flags waving. Kenneth Smith on the back of Lud Flores. So, be interesting to see will Flores in the Lexus take the extra time to repair the damage. We'll keep an eye on that. He worked himself back into P4. So, John Cannon, there he goes. This is our first pit stop. It's a long bloody pit lane here, so we're not going to track that all the way. We'll stick with Rohrer now because he's half a second behind Rise. He's a car the difference right now because of Petrovic's. And Petrovic's does his best to get out of the way. And there we go, they're in the pits. So these two drivers making their stop. Here's Cannon, so still going. So it is a very, 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 very long pit road. Being the GT pit. Sherman! Oh no! What happened, Andrew Sherman? Let's see what happened here. Oh, approaching Eau Rouge. And has he lost it at the bottom of... Oh, he's lost it through there. Oh no! And that's similar to what happened to Flores. So Flores was able to continue on with the damage. Sherman has dropped down into P5. Pit stops are happening. Alright, we'll keep an eye on that. But see, these guys still going. Vincent, he's just entered the pits. Cannon, Petrovic is coming in now as well. So Matt Arantz is our race leader. And then you got Steve Sky. And then you got Lud Flores. So worked himself back up into P3. He started in P2. So almost back to where he started. Was leading the race when he crashed out. And yeah, there we go. So it's going to take a little while for all these pit stops to play out. There's Piasek in there. Rohrer stationary. Let me check pit times as well. So the counter is continuing to run. Alright. Here's our race leader. He's in the pits now. It's the speed limit. What's Steve Sky going to do? He's going to continue on. Alright. What about Lud Flores? Let's see what he does here. He's going to be the interesting one. He goes. Yep, he's pitting as well. What about Kenneth Smith? He's coming into the pits. Chris Rise has already completed his stop. So Lloyd is in the car. Drew Stanley gets in the car as well. Sean Vinson. No, it's now... Yeah. We'll have to wait for that to come around. It should be Christopher Thomas. Yeah, there it is. So he's in the car now as well. Matt Arantz still making his way down there. Flores will be very interesting to see if he takes the damage as well. There's Piasek. Has he been in there for a little while now? I think he has, yeah. So 2 minutes, in fact, in total. But that looks like it's going to be 2 minutes and 4 seconds. Let's have a look at... Stanley and Thomas, well, those the two guys, 1 minute 50, about a minute 50. Looks like it's the par time right now. So that'll give us a bit of an indication for Flores if they take the damage there. They've already been in for 1 minute 10 seconds. Matt Arantz, he's been in there. Yeah, so that's a standard stop for Matt Arantz. That's looking good for him. Eric Lloyd and Chris Rise, that was a good stop for them as well. Same with Stanley and Thomas, who got into their cars, who are fresh in there as well. They were all good times. Turner Johnson in the Mercedes as well. And then cars that have... what about Retro Coffin? Yeah, good stop from him. Roger and... Who's Roger? Roger and Petrovic. So that was a good stop from them as well. So yeah, Jimmy's already been in there, so he has to go again. But where are you? So we're looking for now Stanley, Gage Gonzalez. He was in there for Rants. That was a 147. So it doesn't look like we've got any real dramas with pit stops. Driver swaps have all been completed. And these two are just coming in now as well. So this is Barrera and Steve Sky. Sherman is making his way into the pits. And this is Gage Gonzalez. He's currently sitting in P3 right now. So this is effectively our race leader with the other two in the pits. And they had good stops. Gonzalez had a good stop. 147 in fact. And judging by that, he will take the lead very, very shortly as those other two drivers are in there. Steve Sky at the minute mark, 35 seconds for Sherman as well. Wonder about Felker too, car 99, just coming through 13 and 14, which is campus. Chris Rise, that was a fun first stint holding up the field. I wouldn't say you held up the field, I would have said you held your own. There's some pretty good battles in there. Yeah, if there's any drivers who want to jump in the chat, give us a bit of a debrief on how that stint was. As Gonzalez, he will take the lead right now. So he's in the lead. It's a very familiar name that we see at the top of the timesheets. This is Felker. So he got in the car for Kenneth Smith. Steve Sky making his way out now. And Sherman still stationary. How long has he been in there for? A minute 37 right now. So hopefully not too, should be another 13 seconds. This will be pretty close here between Sherman and Felker. Sherman still stationary. This is going to be it's a standard start. Felker is going to get through though. Is he or is he not? It's going to be pretty close. Well, that's how close it is. And Felker manages to get through. I think Eric Lloyd is going to get through as well. He is. Drew Stanley and there's Sherman there. So lost quite a few spots in that pit stop. A 156 in total for them. So, and there's Ruston behind. They did take damage. Well, you'd have to assume their stop was 10 seconds longer. So you'd have to assume that they've repaired that car, finds themselves in P7. And that'll be all the pit stops completed bar 2 that are being completed right now. Turner Johnson and Jimmy. So they'll swap over. I think Bradley will get into
the window is now closed.
The 69 car. And then who else do we have? And then Turner Johnson will make way for Michael Lee, who will jump into the car very shortly. So once those pit stops are all concluded. But right now, with a tick under 40 minutes remaining, it is Gage Gonzalez who is leading the way from Steve Skinner. Rodney Felker is in third position. This is Stu Skinner, sorry. Why do I keep calling him Steve Skinner? Rodney Felker, this is good stuff right here. Felker, Lloyd, Stanley, third, fourth, fifth. All new drivers. All just trying to find that rhythm. Eric Lloyd, that is not the rhythm he wants to find. He's overshot the bus stop chicane and he's going to have to do a 180 turn there. A full U-turn. And just came in real hot. Overshot the mark. And that has done his chances no good. Drew Stanley jumped in the car for John Rohrer. He's in fourth. He's hunting down Rodney Felker. who jumped in the car for Kenneth Smith. They're going to head down the hill at the bottom of Eau Rouge. No sparks in this case, as they using all of the track up through Radion. Now the Kemmel Straight, all 770 metres of it. Fastest part of the circuit. Be a hard braking zone into turn 7, 8 and 9, which is the Lacombe precinct, and that is not the way Drew Stanley wanted to approach it. So we've already seen two new drivers just overshooting the mark there, coming in hot. First Eric Lloyd, then Drew Stanley. So those two just trying to get familiarised with the car again. Sitting there for 50 minutes or so, watching, waiting, finally in there. Maybe a little bit too enthusiastic at this stage, but nothing that's going to cause them any severe issues at this stage. So tracking along nicely, all three cars, Felker, Stanley, Lloyd in podium contention. Gonzalez, he is right now in P1, Stu Skinner P2. So there the other cars joined by Felker. That's your podium right now. Almost 2/3 race distance. This has been fun. These 90-minute sprints that PanAm like to put on. It's been pretty good stuff. We've got 14 cars still circulating. And the racing has been good. So all the co-drivers now will have just been able to get back into it now, find their rhythm. They head down the pit straight. Watching from the split up. Drew Stanley chasing down Rodney Felker. And does he have the legs? Can he pull it up in time? In fact, yes he can. So nice move by Drew Stanley. Takes the Aston Martin, drops them back to 4th, and right now in full podium contention. Eric Lloyd will want to get a little piece of that as well. He's the next in line. He's the next one who's going to try and hunt down Rodney Felker. Kenneth Smith not long out of the car, be wondering what's going on. Watching these two battle it out right now. Oh, he runs a little bit wide there through Pouon. It's not going to do his chances any good. Then Eric Lloyd says, if you can do it, so will I. And not doing either of those guys' chances any good right now. Gage Gonzalez, our race leader. 30.5 seconds is the gap between him and Stu Skinner. Drew Stanley in P3, he's almost 22 seconds behind Skinner. And then you've got Felker and Lloyd there in 4th and 5th, chasing down the final podium spot belonging to Drew Stanley right now. With less than 35 minutes remaining. They're set up for a really good finish here. So Stanley, Felker, Lloyd. You've got Eastcott, who's new to the car as well. Kenneth Ruston in 7th position. So the car's definitely got pace. Started on the front row of the grid. Had its dramas early on. But has been able to maintain a top 10 position. And we want to try and get a piece of the Porsche, who has also had a lot of pace today as well. So Eastcott in there. And you've got Thomas in the Aston Martin. making his way through. This is Sean New. And then Retro Coffin, who's quite active in the chat earlier on. He's getting the chance for his driving to do the talking. He's currently sitting P10 right now. But this is where the action is between Felker and Lloyd. So just coming into Bruxelles. Alright, so I think we're set up for a good final third of the race here. These are the two closest cars on circuit. The others would be Ruston and Eastcott, and then you and Thomas and Ruston. Eric Lloyd though, all over Felker. There it is. Oh, side by side again. Ruston. Sorry, not Ruston. Felker runs wide there, but doesn't lose any ground to Lloyd. So both these drivers, obviously new to the car. Just almost be through that phase now of starting to feel comfortable, as Lloyd is definitely feeling very comfortable right now. He's really pouring the pressure on Felker. Stanley's managed to just skip away from these two. His last lap was a 2:19.3. These two behind, Felker was a 2:21.2 and Lloyd was a 2:20.9, so 3/10 faster on that previous lap, Lloyd compared to Felker, and Stanley was quicker than the both of them as well, so that's why he's just skipped away a little bit. You can see him just a turn or so ahead. He's still 14 seconds away from Stu Skinner, who's a further 40 seconds away from Gage Gonzalez, so the two drivers out in front, pretty lonely for them. Not much to do other than to keep that concentration level up, engaged, and if they can bring it home in this order, it's a nice little nice finish for both of those drivers. But still, with 30 minutes remaining, a tick over, plenty can happen, as we have seen in the past. Here's Thomas and Ruston. Last lap around, Thomas did a 20 flat. Ruston did a 22 flat, so 2 seconds the difference between Ruston and Thomas. I wonder if Ruston had a bit of an issue on that last lap, but Thomas all over the back of him right now. So we'll flick between these two and Felker and Lloyd. They're the two closest cars on the circuit. Their way through Blanchimont again. Track temperature continues to fall. Started at 27, now at 24. Still optimum though. Air temperature 21. Oh, Ruston runs deep at the bus stop. Overshot the mark. Let's have a look how that came apart. Here we go. So here's the car in front. And I think he's just missed his mark. I wonder if he was distracted a little bit. Just broke his concentration with the Porsche in front of him. But manages to pull it up, and that's not too bad. But with the progress that Flores was making, the position that he took over, and Ruston just not able to quite capitalise on that. Thomas now, he's 2 seconds behind Eastcott. Felker is 1.3 1 point or just under a second now between him and Lloyd. It's close. Let's put it that way. Last lap around, Lloyd did a 20.5, Felker a 21.8. So pretty big difference between Lloyd and Felker on that last lap. Drew Stanley just continues to chug away. A 2:19.1, and interestingly enough, Stu Skinner. Oh, we've got a drive-through penalty for Eric Lloyd. So currently sitting P4. Too sure what that's for, but that is that's a real gift for Felker in the Aston. Lloyd definitely has the pace, but yeah, he's got the drive-through penalty, and being such a long pit lane, that's a real kick in the guts as well at this stage of the race with less than 30 minutes remaining. AJS cheering on Eastcott. Let's get the class podium. Is a very good point that you make there. So silver class is Skinner, Stanley and Eastcott. Gonzalez, Lloyd and Felker. There's the other class podium. A bit of the error in the pits again. And Lloyd is going to have to serve that penalty, get that over and done with. But before that sort of came up, Stu Skinner, his last lap was a 2:23.6. Drew Stanley did a 2:19.405. Lloyd did a 2:21.4. And Felker did a 21.1. Eastcott did a 20.9. But my point is, 4 seconds the difference in lap time between Skinner and Stanley on that last lap. I'm just trying to see, is there any issues with that car that we can see that might give us a bit of insight to why he would be 4 seconds slower on that previous lap than Stanley. Is he flat out at the moment? I can't quite tell. Short shift. It's not unusual through there though. This gives a bit more of an indication. We can't see anything wrong with him. We'll see what sort of lap time he sets this time around. Gage Gonzalez did a 2:17.9, which is 13/100ths off the fastest lap of the race. Skinner, I reckon he's got something wrong. Has he got something wrong with that car? It's going to be another slow lap again. So he's got an issue. He's got a big issue right now. And there's Drew Stanley, who's making up a lot of ground. And Eric Lloyd making his way into the pits right now to serve that drive-through penalty. So yeah, but really, really bad luck at this point of the race, and given how long this pit lane is. But Skinner, that last lap around, did a 24.6. So I wonder if maybe they've miscalculated on the fuel. He's had to turn it down. He's had to try to go into fuel-saving mode, perhaps, given his pace. But there it is. So Stanley takes the P2 from Stu Skinner, and that car has got something wrong with it. I'm not too sure what it is, but that is not good news for the Porsche. It's run so well all day, and with only 20 odd minutes left, he's at a risk. Here's Thomas and Eastcott before I get to that. sending it down the inside there of Bruzel. Nice move from him. Let's see how that one came about. Oh yeah, out of Lacombe. Just up the inside. Porsche runs a little bit wide, gets the run down the hill. Going to be later on the brakes here. Yeah, pulls it up nicely. He's got just overshoots the braking a little bit there, and that drops them out of podium contention right now. So, for class P4, this has got a bit of work to do. But in saying that though, so Falca is 7.7 seconds down the road from Stu Skinner right now, who Falca did a 21.3 that last lap around, a 24.6 to Skinner. So 3 seconds the difference in lap time between Falca and Skinner. Let's see. There's going to be another slow time. There we go. I thought he was coming into the pits. No. What is going on with this car? So he does a 25. Goes even slower. And Retro Coffin, he's not going slow at all. This Porsche's full beans right now. Where's the replay button? There it is. And yeah, another one. This is going to be a repeat again. We saw this just a moment ago and almost carbon copy. It was pretty easy for Retro. So they're in P9. 4th in class right now as well. I have no idea what's going on with Stu Skinner at the moment, but he is leaking time faster than the Titanic right now. He's in a bit of trouble. He was 4 seconds slower that last lap than Rodney Falca. He's Sean New. He's the only AM driver in the race of all the 14. So he's all of AM. Not just the podium, not just the winner, but he's everything. So he's having a good run down there in P10. And this man here, Gage Gonzalez, I doubt anyone who's ever watched PanAm would be very surprised in this, but he's leading the way. Not only is he leading the way, he just set the fastest lap of the race. So a 2:17.932 was his previous lap, which eclipsed the past previous lap by about 5 1,000ths of a second. That belonged to Rivadeneira, and some nice alignment there. Rivadeneira is in 14th, Gonzalez is in 1st. So the first and second fastest cars are P1 and P14 at the moment. A big sandwich, if you like. Falca, 5.3 seconds. Oh, Stu Skinner's back up and running. Oh, no, he's not back up and running. No, he's still trundling along. Falca, 5.3 seconds is the gap, and Skinner continues to lap at a sub-optimum pace. He just popped in a 2:23.7. Falca did a 2:21.437, so 2.3 seconds faster on that last lap. 5 seconds is the difference. 19 minutes left. AJS, nothing wrong with Skinner's car. So why is he going so slow? I don't understand. So he's the only driver right now who's... Rustin did a 2:22. Skinner did a 2:23.7. Thomas did a 20.1. So, yeah, if nothing's wrong with that, then he needs to pick it up if he wants to hold on to that final podium position that he's clinging to right now. 19 minutes to do so. He's got to hold off this man, Rodney Falca. Did you run? No, he didn't run deep there. That's fine. go for a lap with race leader Gage Gonzalez. There's a lap with Gage Gonzalez. Now, while that was happening, this man here, Christopher Thomas, was making a lot of ground on Rodney Felker, who's also making ground on Stu Skinner. So, I think it's been determined there's nothing wrong with this car. 24.595 was his last lap. Felker did a 22.3. Couple of seconds faster on that last one, and now this could be a three-way fight for Skinner, Felker and Thomas for P3, the final podium position. We're a minute away from the final quarter hour of this one. It's been a cracking 74 minutes so far, 16 to go. Cannon was saying Stu is probably looking forward to getting a bucket of KFC. That may be why he's slow right now. You would have thought that might have made him go a little bit quicker. And there it is. Felker able to put the move on Skinner, who takes P3 away from the Porsche. And now Thomas will want to get a piece of this action as well. And Skinner's just going to move over and I thought he's just going to concede the position there for a second. Picks up a little bit of ground under brakes on Felker. But we'll keep an eye on this now as they head down towards Eau Rouge. In the last quarter hour of this one, there's probably about another 7 odd laps left, maybe 6 or 7, maybe 8. Don't be much more than that. Right now, Gage Gonzalez is leading comfortably. Here's Thomas. And he gets it done on Skinner. This is going to be a good little fight between Thomas and Felker. So, Christopher Thomas moves his way into P4 right now. So he's partnered with Sean Vincent, who I'm sure will be watching on, cheering him on, probably in some sort of chat with him. And he's already all over the back of Felker as well. This is good stuff. When did these guys start? They moved up. They started P12. So Felker, Vincent and Thomas, P12, currently P4 right now. Oh, Felker runs wide! And that's going to give up the position. So Thomas and Vincent are currently in P3 from P12. What a cracking drive from these guys. So awesome work from them. Let's have a look at lap times. The last one, Thomas, a 20.6, 21.1 to Falco. We'll see what they do this trip around. So Falco trying to take that position back. In the meantime, Skinner's dropped another one. So Jeremy Eastcott has taken him and his Porsche up into P5. Andrew Sherman will be pretty happy with that. Let's see if Falco can get a little bit of a run on Thomas. Alright, so here it is. So lap times right now. Stanley's out of the picture. Thomas, a 2:19.650. Falco, a 20.2. Eastcott, a 20 flat. Skinner, no, that's the fastest times. What am I talking about? So Thomas, 2:22.3, a 23.6 to Falco, a 21.7 to Eastcott. So can Eastcott take an outright podium here? That is what we're looking at right now. He's less than a second behind Falco, and his last lap around was 9/10 faster than him, and it was more than half a second faster than Thomas. So Porsches have been strong all day. Can Eastcott sneak through and take a podium position? This is going to be good. He started it in P11. So they've had plenty of movers and shakers. Gage Gonzalez, that car qualified in P6, so they've moved up 5 spots. Thomas up 9. Falco up 3, Eastcott up 4, Skinner up 4, Coffin and New, they've both moved up by 5. Some good stories here to tell right now. Eastcott, can he be the best story of the day? Currently P5, a tick over 11 minutes left. He's less than half a second behind Rodney Falco. Check lap times as well on this trip around. See if Eastcott is faster again than his 2 cars he's chasing down. He's going to have to do it in a bit of a hurry though, because time is not on his side right now. So they make their way through the bus stop chicane. Cars have picked up plenty of dirt and grime. I like that little detail of this game as well. The little details that count. So lap times that time around, so Thomas did a 20.8. Hang on, let me just follow this along. And Porsche, we've seen it a few times already, making their way past cars along the Kemmel Straight, but not on this particular occasion. So Thomas on that lap did a 20.865, Falco did a 22.4, and Eastcott did a 21.1. So based on that pace, it's going to be extremely hard for Eastcott to get past Thomas, but getting past Falco is well within the realms of reality. And that's in Mercedes. I think that's Roger in the background there. So here's a lap down on these guys. Going to be exciting to see. Saying that, so Christopher Thomas, he'll have to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes either in the closing stages of this one. Less than 9 minutes remaining. But back to the scrap here for 4th and 5th. This is Roger just stretching the legs of that Merc right now. This isn't really going to work into the plans of Eastcott as they make their way towards the bus stop. So time fast running out for Eastcott to try and claim fourth. Felker's going to have to hold on. Let's have a look at what lap times were. So Felker picked up the pace, 21.280 and 21.462 to Eastcott. So a lot closer on pace with Felker just nudging the advantage there. 220.797 to Thomas. So he's looking pretty solid right now to take that final podium position. Gonzalez is an absolute mile ahead of Drew Stanley. They've had a really good day. Here we go though. Can the Porsche get it done? We've seen this happen numerous times already. I have to go around the outside. Bring it back onto line. We saw John Rohrer and the Honda have some issues through there earlier today. No such issues for Eastcott on this occasion. He's all over the back of Felker. He's got a P4 finish there. Just dangling in front of him right now. Tantalisingly close. Thomas picked up the pace on that last lap just to give himself a little bit more of a buffer. We still have to race with no mistakes towards the end of this one. If Eastcott just has a little bit of damage there. You can see the bonnet just flapping a little bit in the breeze. Eastcott all over the back. Felker right now as we look from the rear of the Aston Martin. Very distinctive note to this engine as well. So 221.280 compared to a 462 for Eastcott on that last lap. Let's see what they do this time around. We can see what the gap is. Eastcott just trying to make up a little bit of ground under brakes there. Roger, I think we'll just be happy to sit back and watch the rest of this one play out as we're less than 6 minutes away from the conclusion of this one. So, lap times, Felker at 21 flat, Eastcott at 20.7. Slight advantage to Eastcott on that previous lap. So I'm getting close on the last lap around at the end of the Kemmel as he gets a little bit working over the curves there at Radion. And I reckon that's robbed him of any real chance of having a shot at getting past the Aston Martin. Thomas, that last lap around, did a 20.8. So a tenth slower than Eastcott. Further ahead on the track, you can see him just a little bit further up there at the moment. So they're certainly closer to a podium finish. Ruston as well. So he's 2.1 seconds, almost 2 seconds behind Stu Skinner. You can see him just at the bottom of the screen there. So we'll keep an eye on that as that plays out. That's for 6th and 7th. But Eastcott and Felker continue to go at it. Gonzalez miles ahead. Stanley miles behind him. Thomas not as far, but still a long way behind Stanley as well. That's your podium right now. We're looking at 4th and 5th. Felker and Eastcott. They're going to battle this out to the bitter end. Making their way through Pool 1 again. Check lap times. Stanley is continuing to... Thomas doing a good job here. A 20.4. 20.4 to Felker. A 21 flat to Eastcott. So 0.6 the difference between Felker and Eastcott. Advantage Felker on that lap around. Probably only a couple more left, I would have to say, with a tick over 3 minutes remaining. And in terms of Ruston and Skinner, so Skinner on that last lap did a 24.9. It was a 22.1 to Ruston. The gap there is at 1.4 seconds between those two. So Skinner, can he hold on for 6? Ruston going to move one spot further than the 7th he's in right now. Get a little bit of a toe here. We'll stick with this one. Skinner just jinking to the right. Jinks too far. And yeah, ran onto the grass, and that was enough to slow the car down, and it ends up being pretty easy for Ruston. So P6 for the Lexus for him and Blood Flores. That was a bit anticlimactic. This is Michael Lee for ZR Boys. That is not... that is an Aston Martin 4 position. That's Sean New, the only AM driver. Let's see how this one plays out. We haven't got the signal yet. Final lap. Trying to pick up where the car 1, 2, 3 is. While we're watching these two go through the source. This is a horsepower fest right here. They're going to go side by side up through Eau Rouge. No, he pulls out. So probably the wiser decision. I'll continue up the Camel Straight though. Car 1, 2, 3. Where is he? Oh yeah, he's just coming through campus now. So this will be pretty tight actually. I will track that very, very closely because it could be tight. This could possibly be the last lap. There's a minute left. He's just going through 16 now. It'll be pretty tight, but if I was a betting man, I'd say it's probably a one more lap to go after this. So that means the stakes are raised even higher now for Eastcott and Felker, who still continue to find themselves in 4th and 5th right now. And here's Gonzalez. He's about to cross the line. We've got 30 seconds. It should be the last lap.
Okay,
there it is. All right.
On the final lap now. Give it all you can.
Cool. Last lap has just begun. I think these two will have this and the next one because they'd have to go around. We'll have to wait and see. They can't finish across the line ahead of the race leader. We'll work it out as we go anyway. But Eastcott and Felker, last lap around, a 21.3 to Felker, a 21 flat to Eastcott. So it's seesawing between these two right now. Keep an eye on Gonzalez and his progress. He's making his way up through the comm now. So he's our race leader. Haven't seen too much of him. Him and Matt Arantz done a fantastic job teaming up once again. They've done plenty of races together. And Bruce Stanley and John Rohrer as well. Very well deserved P2. This is the closest battle on the circuit right now. Felker and Eastcott. So they'll have one more lap after this one. So we'll go through polishing one again for the second to final time today. 6:39 p.m. local time. Gage Gonzalez still a little way behind these guys. He's going through campus now. And this is their final lap. So this is it for Eastcott and Felker. Can Felker hold on? Can Thomas make sure he can solidify that P3 as well? So a little bit of pressure on him too. Stick with this for as long as we can before we duck across to Gonzalez as he takes the line. He's just about to come to the bus stop chicane now. Let's see if there's a move here though. Eastcott's got a good run on him. I'm really sorry, Gage Gonzalez, but I'm not going to get you, or am I?
The leader has finished the race.
There it is. Gonzalez takes the win. We'll quickly replay it as he makes his way through the bus stop for the final time today. Well done, Gage Gonzalez, our race winner with Matt Arantz. Well done. Great race from those two guys. But this is what we were looking at here. This is where we left off. Where are we now? So we're back to live action now. And it's still Eastcott following Falca. There's Stanley. So he's just coming through campus now as well. Keep an eye on him as he crosses the line. Eric Lloyd and Chris Rice, they're going to finish 8th. Retro Coffin 9th right now. Thomas is in the pits for some reason. I'm not too sure what was happened. What's happened there? So Thomas, he was in P3. So Rodney Falca, what happened to Thomas? He's in the pits. So Falca here. This is for the final podium position. What happened? Thomas was ahead of these guys. This was for 4th and 5th. Anyway, doesn't matter. Just work that out as we go along. But Falca is going to be able to hold on here if he can just make his way through the bus stop chicane one final time. And he and Kenneth Smith are going to take home a very, very well-earned P3 as he's done it. So nice work, Kenneth Smith. He comes home in P3. Andrew Sherman and Jeremy Eastcott hold on for P4. Looks like Lud Flores and Curtis Ruston, they're going to round out the top 5. So case of what could have been for them starting P2. After what happened though, that's a good result for them. And Steve Sky and Stu Skinner are going to bring home the Porsche for P6. 7th to Eric Lloyd and Chris Rise. 8th to Michael Lee and Turner Johnson. We've got 10th to Sean New and Joshua Piasek. Vincent and Thomas, they're going to be relegated to 12th. Petrovic's Roger. Let's just quickly do the class division though. So Gonzalez, Falca, and Lloyd and Rise. That's your pro. Silver is Stanley, Eastcott, and Ruston. That was your podium there as well. So just a little bit of housekeeping for the divisions. But that was fun. That was the 90 minutes of Spa is complete. That's round 6 in the books for season 2 for PanAm Racing. Nice work from Gage Gonzalez and Matt Arantz, who took P1. Drew Stanley and John Rohrer, who took P2 and the class victory. Kenneth Smith and Rodney Falca, P3. And then Andrew Sherman, Jeremy Eastcott, Steve Sky, Stu Skinner. That's the podium for silver. And for pro, it was... I think it's Eric Lloyd and Chris Rise rounded out the podium there as well. So, nice work from everyone. Some exciting racing. That was pretty good today. I enjoyed that. I hope you did too. That's everything all sorted, done and dusted. Hope you enjoy the remainder of your weekend. We will see. I don't know if we'll be back next week. I'm not too sure. But anyway, until then, stay safe.